Hi, I'm Kris from Theme Park to Table, cooking up delicious theme park recipes right here in my own kitchen. Today we're working on a seasonal recipe. We're going to do some pumpkin pie twists. These you can find all over the place in Disneyland. I've never actually been to Disneyland before. I hope to someday go, but we'll see how these turn out. Hopefully they'll be delicious. To start, we're going to grab our bowl. We're going to put in pumpkin puree, just straight pumpkin, not the pie mix. This is just pumpkin out of a can. Brown sugar, white sugar, instant pectin, and some pumpkin pie spice. We're going to give this a mix, get everything incorporated together. Try to get all those dry ingredients mixed up into that pumpkin. I don't want any clumping in there. So try to get all the brown sugars kind of smoothed out a little. It is going to get spread onto some puff pastry, so if there's anything in there, it'll kind of help then too. But I want to try to get it good and smooth. Give us a good base to work with. Okay. That's looking pretty good. I'm going to set this aside just for a few minutes. Move this out of our way. Now we're going to work with our puff pastry sheets. These have been thawed, so we're going to put down just a little sprinkle of flour. I'm going to give that a little rub. And we're going to open these guys up. We're going to take a rolling pin, and all we're trying to do is just kind of get rid of those creases a little bit on there. We're not really trying to stretch the dough or anything. We just don't want the creases, so we're just going to give it a couple quick rolls. There we go. It's looking good. Obviously I had a little pumpkin on my hands. We got a little preview of pumpkin on there. And now we're going to take this. This actually is going to do 3 batches of these. So I'm going to take about a third of the mixture. And we're going to spread it on. We want to leave a little space around the edges for the top piece of puff pastry to seal. So we're going to take this and just run it right down and over. And try to get it as even as we can. If you've never worked with puff pastry before, I would say it's very important that you let it thaw all the way as a tip. Also, you can't let it get too warm because then it kind of sticks to itself. It's kind of one of those things that's, you got to find the perfect balance of still chilled but not frozen. This is looking pretty good. Try to get that little bit off there. Okay. We're going to move this guy over onto our baking sheet that has wax paper on it. Pick them up and move them quick. Okay, and then we're going to take our other sheet of puff pastry and we're going to unwrap that one. So see, this one's sat just a little while longer and it's already starting to kind of stick to itself a little bit. That's what we're trying to avoid. Up a rolling pin again. A little bit of flour, work out our creases, and then this is going to go right on top. I'll try to line them up as close as we can, and then we're just going to kind of give them a little push to pinch them together. I'm going to go all the way around. Once we finish pinching this all together, it's actually going to go into the refrigerator and it's going to sit for about 15 minutes to chill before we take it out and get it ready for the oven. While this one is chilling, I'm going to put together the other 2 that we're going to do. I'm also going to turn my oven on to preheat. So we're going to put this in for about 15 minutes and I'll see you back here at about 15. Welcome back. It's been about 15 minutes and I just pulled out our puff pastry pumpkin pocket, I guess is what we'll call it. So the next step in this is we're going to actually cut this into 6 even pieces. We're going to say mostly even. The way I'm going to do this is I'm just going to find roughly what I think is about a halfway point I'm going to use a pizza cutter because I have an easier time with this going straight than I do with a knife. And I'm going to shoot down what's roughly halfway, and then I'm going to kind of go a third and a third. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Luckily, these are going to be twisted, so nobody's really going to see how perfect they are or not perfect, because they're definitely not perfect. We're going to pick up twist. We're going to move them to our parchment. This is parchment paper now. Unlike wax paper, we're baking on parchment paper. You don't ever want to bake on wax paper because the wax will melt. Parchment paper is actually safe to bake on. And we're going to give this a couple of little twists. Ooh, look at that pumpkin spilling out. That looks delicious. And I'm going to grab the next one. I'm going to do the same thing. Twist it over a couple times. Try to give them a little space between them. Next. Okay, I'm doing about 3 twists, I would guess. I know that these are going to puff up quite a bit because it is puff pastry. So I'm going to try to leave enough room so they can puff, but at the same time, keep them close enough together that they'll all fit on the same pan. One more. We may have to adjust just a little. Okay, so let's just adjust these guys down a little bit. I don't know about you, but whenever I make cookies or anything else, I always end up readjusting before I put them in the oven. I never can seem to get them laid just right the first time. So, and then number 6. Give this guy a twist. Doesn't want to twist quite so nicely, but that's okay. Okay. Now, I'm gonna move this out of the way. We are going to grab, we have 1 egg here, and we're just going to kind of give it a little whisk. And to that egg, we're going to add the milk and give that a little whisk about. I'm going to get that egg beaten because we're going to actually brush our twist down with this. Do that. I'm going to give this a quick rinse and a quick dry because I really should have gone and done the dry ingredients before the wet ingredients, but I didn't plan that far ahead. So we're going to give that a quick dry. And now we're going to mix. We got pumpkin pie spice and we have black sugar, standing sugar. We're going to mix these 2 together. The recipe calls for just regular standing sugar, but I thought since we're doing a spooky recipe, black would be kind of cool with the orange pumpkin. So we're going to kind of keep it festive and go with that. We're going to give that a little mix. We're going to grab our pastry brush. We're just going to lightly brush these down a little bit. We want this so that they brown. It's also going to help the sugar and pumpkin pie spice stick to it. I'm not looking to make scrambled eggs, so I'm not going to go too crazy with it. Oh, a nice quick little brush. When we finish with these guys, they're going to go in the oven. I should mention that my oven is preheated to 400 degrees right now. They say that they should take about 20 to 24 minutes. I will probably start checking them about 15 because I don't want to overdo these. These guys already. And we do have 2 more batches that we're going to make too after, but we're not going to do that part on camera. We're just going to get these done so you can see what they look like. Okay, so now we're going to go with our sprinkles, our sugar, and our pumpkin pie spice. We kind of go right on top. Just a nice even little layer of them. Get them all dressed up in their Halloween costume. Okay, that looks pretty good. And we're going to put these in the oven. And in they go. Gonna set my timer for 15 minutes. And keep an eye on them. So these actually, when they come out, do have to sit and cool before I can really handle them. So I'm gonna bake these for 15 minutes. I'm gonna pull them out when they're done, probably between the 22 and 24 minute mark. I'm gonna let them cool for 5 minutes and then I'll meet you back here. I'll see you soon. Welcome back. Our pumpkin pie twists have baked. They did take about 23 minutes to bake, and they have cooled. I've left them on this pan for about 5 minutes so I can touch them, and they're ready just to be plated. I do wish that the black sanding sugar had stayed a little bit wholer and more crystallized and not quite as black mess everywhere, but I'm sure that that's not going to change how amazing that they're going to taste. So there you have it. Pumpkin pie twists. I can tell you that they smell amazing, and the kids are circling like vultures waiting to taste it. If you like this video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and until next time.